Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex here with Freedom Mowers. Hope you all are doing well. I appreciate everybody checking out the channel and all the new subscribers. We hit 2,000 like this last week and I am blown away, so I really appreciate it. Our goal here on the channel is to pretty much get free or low-cost outdoor power equipment that is destined for the scrapper or the junkyard and try to revive it and see if we can turn a profit on the end. So let me go grab the project for today. We've got a Craftsman rider that we're going to get started on and have some fun, so stay tuned. Alright, well here is the project. We've got a Craftsman T1200. I've never worked on this particular Craftsman before. I've worked on some of the newer ones, and yeah, let's just check everything out on it. So I had to pump up the front left tire. It was flat, and the chute is hanging on here by a thread. Blades actually look to be in pretty good shape. Make sure they're not bent. Spindles are free on it. This one does have the foot pedal drive, so you know, the automatic, it's not truly a hydrostatic. It has the vary drive, and I did look at the transmission belts. There's two of them on these, and they look to be in really good shape, no dry rot, and still plenty of life. So far those look good, other than that one tire holding air. And the battery in this is from June of last year. So the story was, the guy bought this mower new. He'd been using it for a while. He bought a new battery for it last year, and he said about a month after getting the new battery, he went to go start it up and mow one day, and it wouldn't crank up, and it's basically been sitting since, and he didn't want to deal with it, so told me to come pick it up. This spindle is free as well. The deck belt is in really good shape also. So belts, everything looks good on here. The battery would not turn it over, so I'm sure that's dead, but hopefully we can revive that since it's only a year old. The hood is all misaligned. Definitely had like a front end crash. It's kind of bumped in here and the front's cracked, and also the mount, you guys can see there, it's supposed to be screwed in on the front here, but that's broke loose. And this one has the, I think it's the T1400s come with the Briggs & Stratton Intech. I guess these T1200s came with this 420cc engine, which is the Zongshan, I think the Chinese manufacturer for these, which was like a, maybe a Honda clone or something like that. I don't know, I've never worked on one of these before. Let's take a look at the gas. It's starting to, well, I'm surprised. It's been a year, it's starting to smell a little varnishy. Let's see if it has oil. I'm gonna have to wipe that stick because that's way over full. We'll get it in the shop and we'll actually take a good reading on that. Overall though, I think it's in fair shape. I think this will be pretty good if we can get it to run, and if not, still be a good candidate to put a new engine on, seeing as how it's a newer model in pretty good shape. So let's get this thing pulled in the shop and see if we can figure out what's going on with it. Alright, got it in here, got it on the lift. I went ahead and hooked up the jumper pack. I just charged it yesterday, so we should be at like 13 something volts on that. Get the hood off here. We'll go ahead and check this oil this time. It definitely has an oil leak. It looks like it's coming from the actual drain port, so it might just need to be tightened up. So, show you guys. Y'all can see it there. It's about halfway on the hash marks, maybe a little lower. A little dark, but it doesn't look too bad. And just check the air filter real quick. Bring y'all over here. Air filter doesn't look too bad. There's a huge mud dauber's nest on it though. Probably tear the pre-filter. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and take that off. Thanks, mud daubers. Alright, yeah, we'll just see if it'll crank. I gotta set the parking brake. So parking brake is set. PTO is off on it. Alright. Well, we got power to it. Let's see. I guess we'll just go ahead and throw the choke on. Here we go. Oh my goodness, that thing is loud. Good Lord. Voltage regulators all flopping around on here. Alright, we'll give it a little shot of some carb spray and see if we got anything going. Alright, we'll see if we can give it a little gum out jet spray to motivate. Need to check to make sure that, yeah, choke's working on here. Alright. Let's try this again. Almost sounded like it wanted to start. Let's try to take the choke off. I wonder if this thing needs a valve adjustment because it was so hard to turn earlier by hand. Come on. Getting nothing here. Check my jumper pack. Yeah, we're just under 13 volts. It sounds like it's taking a ton of power though, a lot of draw on this, so. Alright. Let's check to make sure we're getting spark. Let me hook up my spark tester and see if we're actually getting spark. I'm wondering if there's something going on with the valves here maybe. Alright, well my spark tester won't fit into this metal boot that's on here, so I'm gonna do it. We'll just take the plug out and put it up against the block here. Getting nothing. Alright. So maybe we got a bad coil. Or something else in the ignition. Let's just try a different plug first. I've got some around here. I usually keep some good plugs on hand. This one's just a older Autolite 3924. Just see if what's going on. Oh yeah, we got a spark on that plug. Alright, let me try. I don't know if you guys can see that. Try to get it where you can see. Got a really nice spark on that one. Alright, let's try this other plug again. Alright, here we go. We got nothing on this NGK. Alright. Well, man. Let's put this one in here and see. Let me just double check. Make sure these threads are the same length and everything. Should be okay to run that. I don't know if I have that exact same plug. I'll just give it a shot here. Plug is hooked up. Give it a little shot and see if we can at least get it to kick over. Alright, here we go. Oh my goodness. You guys could smell it in here, you'd smell that old gas. Good gravy. This engine sounds funky. I've never heard one of these run before. It has like a gurgly sound to it. That is crazy. Crazy, crazy. Compression just seems so high on this thing. May end up just checking the valves on this too. I have no idea. I'll have to look up the specs on those. It just seems crazy that it has that much compression. It's got to be hard on that starter. Sweet. All right, well, let me move some of these tools out the way and see if this thing drives. Man, this thing is pain. It's got to be valves. Alright, well, seems like that smoke did clear up some too. Well, it runs, drives, and cuts, but that's starting. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start looking up the specs on this. Maybe we'll pop this valve cover off, try to do a valve adjustment on it, and I'm also gonna drop down the deck, just double check everything on that. We'll take a look at that as well. And I'm probably gonna have to re-weld the bracket for the chute, so we'll get to all that here shortly. But let me get some information on these valves and we'll go ahead and start on that. Alright, well, I've gone ahead and popped the valve cover off from here to save some time. It's just 4 10mm bolts, and it has a rubber O-ring that goes around it. And I do have some videos on valve adjustments, so I'll probably skip that on here, but I did look up the specs on a couple of forums because I was having a hard time finding it. And it said that the exhaust on here is supposed to be 6 to 8, and the intake is supposed to be 4 to 6. And our intake on here, I was already looking at it, looks like it's about, let me close or open up the exhaust valve. So now the intake has all the pressure off from it. There's got to be like 20 to 30 thousandths play in here. And I did look at the push rod when I was turning it, and it has a little bump for the compression release. So I know there is a compression release and it is working. It's just that it's not gonna work when you have that much play. So I will go ahead and get these adjusted, and then I'll throw this cover on and we'll see if we can get this thing turning over a little bit easier and move forward. Alright, I got the cover button back up. I'll tell you guys, this thing was a pain to do the valve adjustment. Every time I thought I had it set, it was off a little bit, and so I redid it. Probably redid this like 4 different times, but we did have the issue though with the compression release, so we should be able to turn over much easier now, because I feel like that was going to tear up that starter quick trying to crank that hard. We're still hooked up. Parking brake is set, so let's give it a shot here. Oh yeah, much easier. Difference on that. Earlier it was gurgling and popping. Definitely has some oil that needs to burn off. Yeah, that valve flash was way out. Awesome. This thing sounds way smoother. Awesome. Well, that was well worth it. Like I said, you can kind of tell when it's, you know, it should not have that much compression where you can't even turn it over by hand with all your force. So where are we at on this? I did take a look, show you guys. I'm gonna have to figure out a way. On this hood, there is these like little plastic tabs that these screws went into that are broke out. So I have my little plastic welder. I'm gonna see if I can plastic weld those tabs back into place, and also bend this support bar back up. That way that can get that sorted out. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take off the chute on here as well, and I'll show you guys what's going on with that and get it welded up. And in the meantime, I'm gonna take this over and give it a good pressure washing. That way we can kind of just get an idea if there's anything else going on with it, and start getting this thing cleaned up and ready to rock and roll. I still got to add a little bit more fresh gas to it and some stabilizer, and so far it's looking pretty good. So alright, let me get to it. And real quick, I got the chute off. I basically got this crimped into place, but there's 2 spots where that tab is broken off. I'm gonna go ahead and weld this gap in here, and then once I get that, I'll be able to unclamp over here on the back side and get that one tacked into place and get this nice and sturdy again. Probably trim a little bit of this jagged edge off from here, and then we should have a good working, functioning chute again. All right, can't remember where I left off with you guys. Had to take a break for a little while, and I've been steady at it on this machine. So I did go ahead and fix the bracket here in the front. Plastic welded the little plastic tabs basically that the screws went into, and got that done. I was able to find another headlight socket that I had here as a spare, and got the wiring harness sorted out. Headlights both work now. What else did we need to do? Oh, on the deck, I went ahead and welded this whole bracket back together again where it was broken, those two spots, and now we've got a working chute. I went ahead and pulled the deck off from here because I did see something hanging, and I wanted to see what was going on, and also if I need to grease anything on it. What I did notice is this is the arm that applies the brakes to the spindles, and this had come, looks like, just off track. It's got like this little notch on it that lines up with this hole right here. So basically I need to push this over and then get it back in the hole. But right now, the way it was, this idler pulley, or the tensioner pulley, was actually making contact with the spindle here. So we'll get that. I'll just get that back on track and make sure it's going to stay in place, and then also going to pressure wash the deck here and see if we have any kind of cracks, and should be good on the deck. I'm going to go ahead and pull this over now and get this thing all pressure washed up. That way we can get rid of all the old caked up oil, and then we can run it and see if we have any leaks or where they're coming from. I am going to try to tighten up the oil drain on here. I also tested out the charging system, and the voltage regulator was charging the battery on here. So far everything seems to be in good order. So let me get this pressure washed, and I will show you guys on the deck when that's washed too, how everything's hooked up, and then we'll get the deck remounted, and should be pretty close to having this thing about ready to rock and roll, besides just little things such as greasing different pivot points and really going to town cleaning this thing. So all right, I'll check in with you guys when everything's washed up. All right, I've got this thing buffed and polished up and cleaned. I do need to get some more paint. I need to get some for the mower, but I'll show you guys on here. I added a little keeper pretty much to make sure that this brake mechanism doesn't come off again, and I also put some white lithium grease on the pivot point, so everything is nice and smooth now. Spindle sounded good earlier, so we should be good. The idlers feel real good on it. So yeah, let me get this hooked back up, and I'm going to show you guys what this thing looks like, because it looks awesome. I think we're going to have a really nice mower when we're done. So let me get this wrapped up, and I will show you guys the finished product. All right, well, here is the finished product. I appreciate you guys staying tuned. I went ahead and buffed the whole machine, and also put just a little bit of ATF on some of the plastics, and got everything shined up. Put a seat cover on it, greased the steering. What else did we do? I took the headlight lenses out on here and got those all cleaned up. I've got a new bulb in there. Finished up with the wiring here, got that cleaned up, looking real nice. But you guys can see, I mean, it looks Really good in here. Show you both sides. Cleaned up really nice. I don't think there was that many hours on this machine. I think that it just wasn't cared for very well. Deck looks good. Yeah, batteries in it now. I put dielectric grease on the connections for the battery, and yeah, it's looking really good. I'm excited about this. I just need to check to make sure that the deck's level on it, and I think other than that, it's pretty much ready to go. Topped off the oil, but let's crank it up, let you guys hear it. It runs super smooth now. Take it for a little spin right here, show you guys everything works. Alright, this thing came out super nice. So I've been working all day on this thing, and it is probably close to 100 still right now. I really appreciate you guys checking out the channel, and thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. I love hearing from you guys, the comments, all the new subscribers. We got tons of new stuff coming up, and fun projects, so I really appreciate it. And on that note, let freedom ring, let the small engine sing. I'll see you all next time.